don't think there's anything more irresponsible than these famous rich celebrities saying that I was going to end it all. It's so irresponsible, so overdramatic, not true almost 99% of the time. And what message does that send to people who are actually clinically depressed? It's like they're all, I just need some reason to have faith and hope that it could get better. And then Logan Paul and Machine Gun Kelly, they're all, I had the gun in my mouth. You may as well literally send them a pamphlet, advertise this all. You should definitely do it, dude, because now it's completely hopeless for you. So America has produced some of the greatest civil rights leaders in the history of the world. Susan B. Anthony for the ladies, Harriet Tubman with the Underground Railroad, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Logan Paul. You didn't know that he was among those greats when it comes to civil rights, but Logan was, and he's going to show you right now, because in this interview that he did with Graham Benninger, he lets you know the most important moment of his career, which is when he finally addressed institutional racism in the United States. And he is going to tell you what an enormous impact that's had in how people act. And racism's over now. Like, there was racism, institutional. He addressed it on his podcast. Racism's over now. So we're going to take a look at that. And then we're also going to look at this story where Logan says that he wanted to unalive himself after the CryptoZoo thing happened with CoffeeZilla. And he said he couldn't take it. He actually considered eating a bullet. Jeez. Now, I never make light of people talking about, but I do have to say, you could have just paid the money back. What? You could have just paid the money back. You know, like if you're going to do something so dramatic, like, you know what I mean? If that's where you're at, you understand all the negative criticism could stop immediately if you just took $6-7 million, whatever it was, and just paid it all back. All right. I mean, because this is legit what you're saying, right? Like you actually were considering, right? Yeah, I was, dude. I almost did it. So you could have just paid the money back and everybody would have been like, wow, what a classy guy. He clearly didn't mean to scam anyone. And then you could have sued your partners and the entire optics of this thing would have been like, dude, that guy paid everyone back. He didn't even make any money. He sued his partners. This is a really good guy. And you could have flipped the script completely. Listen, okay, I was actually considering eating a bullet. Were you though? Yes. Were you though? Yes. And it seemed like a better option than just pay the money back, no questions asked, since you made probably 5 times that year. Dude, you're ruining my moment right now. Stop doing logic on an emotional cry for help. But anyway, we're going to talk about those 2 stories, but we're definitely going to start with the Black Lives Matter one because this is absolutely amazing, amazing stuff. Now, I'm going to derail you to tell you a story really quick, though, because I think that, when we talk about, like, I don't know, cultural issues, a lot of the things that people are focused on now is, like, protecting children, right? Like, protect children, protect their minds, protect their hearts, all that stuff. Because this documentary right here just came out on HBO. It's about Nickelodeon, the history of, what's the right way to put this? Grown-ups having child actors do very nasty things to them that they're not supposed to be doing. And then the circle of people rehiring each other, So like, I don't know, as an example, there's one guy who may or may not have inserted his whatever into the mouth of like a 12-year-old. He got convicted of it, went to jail. And then when he got out, Disney hired him. Weird. So anyway, I tell you this story because I haven't even seen it yet, but I do know about that story. And today we were talking to a babysitter about that documentary. We obviously didn't talk about the contents of the documentary too specifically because my kids were there. And right afterwards, my 6th grader came into my room and is like, you're talking about the Nickelodeon guy? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, do you know what he did to Ariana Grande? And I was like, no, what did he do to Ariana Grande? You understand that this is a documentary about them, diddling kids, right? She's like, he made her dye her hair so many times that now she basically always has to wear her hair in a ponytail. He ruined her hair. And I was like, wow, what an evil guy. And I tell you that story because it was like this just perfect realization of like, that's child innocence right there, So these weirdos who want to implant sexualized content into the brains of children, that's what you're up against. She's in middle school and she still is like, he destroyed Ariana Grande's hair. When we're talking about people literally diddling kids and getting away with it for decades. And in the mind of these lunatics, we're the bad guys because we want to protect that childhood innocence. But awesome. Anyway, but now let's get a lot less serious. I'm sorry, much more serious. And let's listen to one of the premier civil rights leaders of our time, Logan Paul. Listen to this.
The BLM speech that you gave.
I'm very proud of that.
Surprised by the extent to which it resonated?
It is the most important piece of media I've ever made in my life.
Finally, I feel at a good spot in my life where I can speak up and speak with my chest out, my chin up. America is racist. We are all incredibly unaware of how deeply intertwined the ugly roots of racism have embedded themselves in the foundation of this country.
That 3-minute BLM speech, I felt was the first thing I did that actually had a real life, real significant impact in how people act.
And that did what for you?
Look at his face. Look at that guy. The Graham can't even help himself, dude. Graham's like, dude, Graham's based, son. I don't even need to know anything about this dude. Graham is based. Because he's looking at Logan. He's like, oh yeah. He's like that. He's like trying to keep a face on where he's like, oh, that was really important, is it? Tell us about it, Logan. You know, tell us about your incredible impact on the civil rights movement. Let's see how Logan continues with that.
Just open my eyes to the idea that I don't always have to be a fool to get someone's attention.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if, but prior to that video, I don't know if people heard me actually like say anything important.
I don't know about you guys, but I was deeply moved by what Logan said. You know, someone emailed that to him, probably from Black Lives Matter. And when you read the email out loud on air, I found myself realizing that you're 100% right about how racist this country is. I just don't know how I never saw it. Is there anybody else who has anything to say about this? Let's hear what he says. Oh, whoops. Oh, wait, who's that again? Oh, right. Barack Obama, who got voted into office twice in America. Is he white? No, let me look really close. No, he's black. He's definitely black. So I don't know, man. I feel like that should shoot an arrow straight through anyone who wants to espouse this absolute utter nonsense now. But again, we would have to have a much more nuanced conversation. You know, like we could talk about historical racism that has led to impoverished communities in certain ethnic groups, which then lead to cultural decay and the breakdown of the family, and then people not aspiring to go to school and better themselves and look to go to a career. But, you know, that would take more brain power than reading an email out loud and thinking that you're Malcolm X. So I'm just saying that would be my take on that. But there are two things that I need to talk about here, okay? One, I'm going to talk about Logan Paul in general and people like him, because that you could not script a better example of exactly what is happening here with people who are virtue signaling. Like, you want to know what virtue signaling means? People are like, people say virtue signaling all the time. It's like, right. They say it too much, just like gaslighting. And you're like, okay, but like a lot of times people are gaslighting. Do you know what gaslighting means? No. Then how do you know if people are saying it too much? Like if you wanted a real world example of gaslighting, it would be.
In fact, tomorrow, I don't even like to say it because I'll be arrested. Well, let's not say it. We need to go. I'll say it. All right.
Spoiler alert, he was not arrested. Okay, here we go.
In fact, tomorrow, I don't even like to say it because I'll be arrested. Well, let's not say it. We need to go. I'll say it. All right. We need to go in to the Capitol. Let's go! I'm going to put it out there. I'm probably going to go to jail for it, okay? Tomorrow, we need to go into the Capitol. Into the Capitol. Peacefully.
So like if a mainstream media source told you that you were a conspiracy theorist for being curious why that guy did not get arrested after January 6th, when people who just literally walked on the lawn got arrested, some people doing 2 decades in prison who didn't even go. And you're like, why is that guy not in jail? That guy's not a federal agent. They're like, no. And you're like, dude, you're a conspiracy theorist, man. Get off this. You guys are ruining Ray App's life. That's gaslighting. And so virtue signaling is that right there. That is the definition of virtue signaling. And I will tell you exactly what I mean. So anybody who thinks that America is racist, like just it is a racist country, has either been reading too much Ibram X. Kendi or doesn't have any idea what they're like. You can't have a country where a black president was elected twice in a row and say the country is racist. That does not make sense. It is absolute nonsense. And you have not done even 1% enough thinking to go on your platform and say a thing like that and have people take you seriously. That's the thing, is like, bottom line, if people who know my channel well and like know it well, if I go, listen, okay, these people talking about this institutional racism stuff now, it's stupid. But if you deny that there was institutional racism, a few decades ago, you're an idiot, because there was redlining. They just took their property or wouldn't allow them to get, wouldn't allow black people to get loans on homes. The reason there's such a huge wealth gap discrepancy is because most families build wealth through property ownership, and they literally were not, institutionally, were not allowed to get loans for homes while white people were, okay? That has an institutional, compounding issue. But today, we do not live in that world anymore at all. There are zero institutional racist policies. It's the exact opposite. But, again, like, you'd have to think about that a little bit. And as soon as you start saying things that have some, well thought out, nuanced ideas, people can recognize it. If you read an email on your platform, no one is going, wow, that is the most important thing you've ever done. Now, the other thing that he said on there is he said, it's the first time I realized I don't have to act like a fool to get attention. And you're like, yeah, but you literally just acted like the biggest fool ever. Like, out of all the stuff that you did before, this is the most fool thing that you've done. Like, at least in these other ones, you're being original. These are like your original thoughts. And you're like, I'm going to go do this. We'll get a lot of attention, yada, yada, yada. Like, you are obviously one of the single greatest influencers of all time. I mean, arguably top 1 and 2 with your brother. And I would say top 1 because you were the original one. Okay. Like, you might be the single greatest social media influencer ever. So why don't you just focus on that, since you obviously have great creativity doing that kind of thing? The second that you go, you know what I need to do is I need to just espouse a bunch of nonsense that I have not thought 1 minute about ever. And then when a bunch of bots come in and they're all, wow, Logan Paul, what an incredible man. Oh my God, he's amazing. You're all, they love me. They love me. I can continue to say this. This is so important. It's like, bro, these people are not real, okay? And the people who are saying that are just other virtue signalers, just like you. Think of, look inside your heart. Is this something you really thought about? I literally watched you read it. You were reading it out of an email. Right? You really thought a lot about this? Do you want to, how do you explain Barack Obama? Go. Explain Barack Obama. Go. So, virtue signaling and embarrassing. Now, one thing I will say about, racism in America, 2 things actually. So everyone says that the right-wing people are racist, right? How do you explain Candace Owens? Like, one of the single most popular pundits on the right is a black woman, right? You understand, racist means you are racist against, a certain group, right? Which everybody thinks is black people in many cases. So, like, you can't have it both ways. A bunch of white conservatives cannot choose to listen to Candace Owens and then you say they're still racist. That's not how that works, man. You know what I mean? But anyway, the other thing I was going to say is, so let's say that we do want to take for granted that from a population standpoint, there are the average number of young Americans that come out of the black community versus the white community are headed for success in corporate structures after going to school and doing that whole thing, right? So you could throw those stats around and be like, oh, in the black community. So you want to know how an actual winner thinks about that stuff, right? Someone who's has a winner's mindset. You think about it like this: a white belt in a gym, you look at that person, you're like, oh, I'm going to smash that guy. And then when they're really good, it blows your mind. You're like, wow, dude, that guy is a fucking nasty white belt. Had he been wearing a purple belt, you'd have been like, oh yeah, whatever. But because he's wearing a white belt, your impression is like, wow, dude, that is an incredible, that guy's got a really bright future. So think about it like that. Anybody who holds on to any kind of racist stereotypes in their mind What that actually is an opportunity for said black candidate to just knock their dick into the fucking ground. Come in and just do really well. It's like, damn, son. And that way, it actually plays in your favor if people are kind of looking like, oh, I don't know, if they have some like, underlying racism. I don't understand it at all. Literally, everybody's just the same to me. But you know what I mean? Like, that's a winner's mindset. But again, probably a little bit too much nuance for Logan Paul, who read an email and then said it was, one of the greatest civil rights moments of all time. Okay, now let's switch now over to this story where Logan Paul was going to do it. He was going to do it. All right, so let's get into this really serious topic here. Actually, you know what? This is actually a really serious topic. People, like that's, I actually had a family member that did that. Uncle put himself down. I got to see the horrific aftermath for my family, etc. when this happened. It's not a joke. I only make a joke about it because I don't believe that this guy who's about to tell you a story about, oh my God, I almost did it, while he's on a private jet and he could have just paid all the money back. I don't believe that you actually consider this. I'm sure you were upset, but it was solvable. He could have just paid everyone back. So let's listen to what he says and we'll discuss. And by the way, for the 100th time, every time I talk about Logan, I'll say the same thing. A, I really respect Jake. I'm excited to go watch Tyson versus Jake. And B, just get your stupid girl to drop the Dylan Dennis lawsuit and I'll quit fucking with you so much. Probably. Maybe. I don't know.
Things had been very good for a very long time. I'm used to things going wrong.
Today, we're investigating Logan Paul's CryptoZoo.
And then things went wrong.
I really hate to say this. I think there's someone hanging right there.
You know what it's like to be the most hated person on the planet? Because I do.
We've had a guy who's popular among kids mocking suicide.
Oh, God. That whole thing is like, shut up, you guys. Jesus. He's a kid in a suicide forest and like, it's okay. Oh, he should have done blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh my God, he should have. They're like, yeah, he should have done whatever. You're like, hey, guess what, dude? A smart bomb landed on a child in Sudan 5 seconds ago. Wait, really? Yeah, a lot of dead kids. What about Gaza? A lot of dead kids. Oh, okay. Does that change your day? I would like to say that it does, but no. Right. Like it should, but no. Well, Logan made a joke about a guy who was right there. Like he's like right there. And that's worse than being indifferent to dead children. Well, I didn't say I was indifferent, but you are though. All right. Remember we were just talking about virtue signaling? That's you pretending like this clip really, really bothered you. This whole thing was a joke to me. I'm like, who cares what he did in the forest? Because WWE is, speaking of which, you know who I was like our chiropractor who went to the chiropractor yesterday, was getting adjusted? The Undertaker right before us. And I was like, that's a big ass dude. Oh shit, that's the Undertaker. He's a big boy, dude. He is a big, big boy. But yeah, I mean, this is like WWE is like, here, be an athlete and make a show of it. It's like, if you live your whole life like that, it's like, yeah, I'm not surprised that he's good. He is an excellent wrestler. But again, he has I just keep coming back to the lawsuit, dude. It's just absolutely infuriating. And no, dude, no. You were not going to whack yourself out. I don't believe you. Give me a break, dude. Okay, so I thought he was going to talk about that then. So whatever, I'll probably have to edit that out. See, I don't know what it is, but when big, rich, famous celebrities go public with their, I was going to do it. There's something about that just absolutely infuriates me. And I'll tell you exactly why. Machine Gun Kelly, I was going to do it. I had a shotgun in my mouth and Megan Fox talked me out of it. Shut up, Machine Gun Kelly. Even if that's true, won't you keep that story to yourself, dude? Because, like the 7 billion people on Earth, you got like 6.999, 99999 would be like, yeah, I'll take that guy's life. I'm not one of them personally, but most people, the vast majority of humans on Earth would do anything to be you. And you're going to go public and in order to sell a documentary, you're all, I had a shotgun in my mouth. Shut the fuck up, dude. Okay? Why don't you just, oh, I have a big platform. What's it going to do if I say XYZ? It's like, well, if you say you were going to blow your brains out, then anybody who has like mid to low hope, they're going to just be like, well, fuck it, man. If he's not even happy, I may as well actually eat a bullet. So, if you want to be responsible for multiple, actual people, because like, as an example, I don't know if you guys remember the show, 12 Reasons Why or whatever. I don't know. I think it's 10, 12 Reasons Why, whatever, on Netflix. And that show, I watched that and I was like, this is the most irresponsible show in the history of anything ever. There's never been a piece of content that was a better advertisement for teenagers to whack themselves out than this, ever. I did it. I killed myself. And here are all the reasons why. And all of them, they listen to the tapes. It's all, oh my God, so this guy did this to her? Oh, I feel terrible about that. This one, I didn't know that I said she had a nice ass, that was going to make me want to kill herself. You're like, dude, what's the message that you're telling these impressionable kids? You're telling them that if they actually go shh, shh, and then go sit in a bathtub, then what's going to happen is all the kids that ridiculed them are going to realize the error of their ways, and they're going to finally be super important, and everyone's going to feel so terrible about what they did. And that's a pretty big incentive to a bunch of kids who don't feel like they matter. So it's like, no, you do matter. You just have to end it first. He says the coverage of the failed CryptoZoo contemplating taking his own life. YouTube boxer, 5 months, dude. He says Logan said he missed out on the chance to meet Nina's father due to his emotional state, admitting he was in a pretty dark spot after YouTuber CoffeeZilla released a video series investigating his NFT game and accusing it of being a scam. For the first time in my life, I was having unaliving thoughts. I was just spiraling, Graham, spiraling. I was crying, like sobbing. I felt weak, which is uncommon for me. I'm supposed to be the leader. So listen, I don't doubt that he felt very sad, but let's not pretend you were actually thinking about unaliving yourself. Give me a break, dude. This is like the whole thing here is it's all a show, dude. Like he thinks this is like the way to present himself in this situation. He's like, I was so upset about what happened that I actually considered ending it all. You're like, oh God. Blah, blah, blah. You want to know one of the reasons? Speaking of which, Gabrielle and my show is live. You can check out our new YouTube channel. It is in the links in the description. We won't even post it for a few days, but like I'm actually going to do Logan Paul today. We're going to cover that. But like one of the reasons her and I get along so well is because we both have zero tolerance for the same things. And like this kind of this like baby, like dramatic baby shit, we just both are like, ugh. Like, I'm telling you, when we do the clip from today and watch, I'm going to read this to Gabrielle and watch her face, dude. She's just going to be like, oh, wow, dude. Because like, oh, you really? Whoa, you were going to boo, boo, boo. Shut up, dude. Okay. I mean, I don't doubt you were upset and sad, but like, come on, dude. And again, listen, I said before about the CryptoZoo thing, I will defend him on this. I will continue to defend him on this because I know more than most people do about these projects because I almost launched ours. And we didn't launch ours because we were so careful about every single thing going into it. And we had our entire NFT thing ready. Like me, and I'm like, literally like, if you go to the website, frogmen.io, it's like, you'll be like, what the hell is Jesse doing with this group, man? It's literally all Navy SEALs and me. But like, there are charlatans in that industry, dude, straight up. And the NFT thing at the time, like, dude, everyone was launching NFT projects and making millions of dollars. And the people who were buying the NFTs were also making tons of money. It was a bubble. Like, bottom line, it was a bubble. It's not like people were knowingly scamming people. The whole thing was a fucking bubble, dude. That's why if you're going to launch an NFT project now, in my opinion, as I have discussed with my partners, you have to have something that you get for the NFT. The NFT has to be incidental because that way it's like, yeah, they're buying the NFT, but here is this thing of value that they also get. You know what I mean? Like it has to, anyway, whenever we launch that project, we'll get more into it. So it's not like you're just buying an NFT and then hoping that it continues to go up because of course it has no value unless people put value on it. I mean, I guess that's all currency, but it's not like he set out to do a scam. He just got in bed with bad partners, which is very easy in the crypto community because there are tons of charlatans. It's all anonymous. Literally, like Everybody that you try to do, like, it's all anonymous. You have no idea who they are. You know what I mean? I mean, in our case, we, you know, yeah, we vetted them. But like, anyway, he didn't set out to do a scam and he didn't make any money. That's all I'm saying. Did he make bad decisions? Of course. Did his, you know, people get fucked? Yes. Should he just have paid them all back right out of the gate instead of pretending that he's going to? Yes. But I'm not going to change my mind that he did not in any way set out to scam anyone, because he didn't. He just didn't, dude. You're not going to be able to convince me that he set out to scam anyone. He might have been ignorant. He might have bad partners. He might have made bad decisions, but he definitely did not set out to scam anyone, because when the NFT market was hot, people were buying the NFTs and they were continuing to go up and up and up. But as things like that go, nothing goes up forever except for meta stock and Bitcoin. And hopefully TKO, and hopefully Trump's new stock. So anyway, this is probably enough. Love you guys.